All right, good morning. We're live. Let's get a quick review. I've got a super busy week this week, so I will be in and out quite a bit. This is for financial, not for financial advice. It's for educational purposes only, of course. Looking at the week we had last week, had this tremendous bleed on SMH, which we've been talking about all month, that, hey, the only thing that's going to matter to this market is SMH and what the semiconductors are going to do. And be aware, we have several earnings coming up this week. We have some Fed stuff. So it's going to be a busy week. I think Google's reporting, maybe Intel and a few others. So be aware of those days, and they'll report after hours and see what they got. Remember, TSM last week, Taiwan Semiconductor, posted great earnings and went ahead and got crushed. So just keep those things in mind. For me right now on SMH, 563.42 has to hold on a retest for the NQ to look higher. So I am primarily watching these monthly levels to see if we get retest and holds or retest and failures. When I look at the NQ, that 29,300 level, 29,300 we know is a major level. It's also S1. So if it doesn't clear that with some authority and try to get going, just don't put a lot of hope in the NQ going higher. If it does, we definitely look higher towards this 30,505. So those are the biggest watches that I have currently, because that's just going to tell me what's going to happen with the market. MU down here in the bottom, down here towards the overshoot. We know the percentages of how much that we finish down here on monthlies, especially. There's only about a 5% chance based on the statistics. So keep that in mind, that this is 95% of the time the bottom of the market for the month, not the, not the breaking point. So I will be very aware of that going into the rest of this month and just see how we do. The QQQ, same thing. We're sitting right here at S1, has to break above it. That's 703.21. So that correlates with the NQ, getting above your 29,300. Those are the things that will be on the top of my priority list, just to get a good sense of what the market actually wants to do this week. It looks like the Dow is just hanging out with its pivot. It's not doing much this morning, so I would just essentially call it flat. And the ES is doing a little better because the NQ is doing better, but having trouble with this monthly pivot at 75.43. So keep that in mind as we go through this to see what this is going to hold for the rest of the month. NQ right here, 29,300, has to reclaim with some conviction that S1 to get moving north. If not, we could just get a shoot above and a fell and come back down here to the 28,179. That is my main watch for the Q, is just this 300 level. I can't say it enough. If we can get above it, it's great. If not, we look for failure here and continue down, because we know that once we break that level, it's resistance until proven otherwise. So when we get there, watch for the reaction, or if we get there, watch for the reaction. If not, our first support is 28,179, and that will be major for that. And I can't harp on SMH enough because we've just been calling it over and over. 563.42 has to hold on any retest to look towards 599. That is ideal. If not, we head lower and look at those levels. If not, if we can hold, we're going to head to 599.35. and we can make some decisions at that point. So just watch your levels. That's all you have to do today to navigate this. Like I said, it's a super duper busy week for me. So I'm going to be in and out. I will be live streaming my daily and my weekly. I did notice that the Q bounced on the weekly level, the weekly pivot all night long. So keep that in mind. 28,747, 28,747 has been the spot of bounce all night. That is a big line in the sand for this week. If that can hold on any retest, then you have to look towards 29.4, which would put us above that monthly S1, and that would be constructive. If it doesn't, then just play the level, 29 or 28,747. If that breaks, then all bets are off. You start looking down here towards 28,218. So like I said, you can shoot me private messages. I'll be in and out. I'm going to stream these two charts right here. My weekly and my monthly will be streaming in my Discord, and just play the levels. We know the important levels. We know the drivers of the market. So if you kind of keep an eye on SMH, you're going to know what the NQ is going to do, which will tell us what the rest of the market is going to do. So with all of that, I hope that helps. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can always send them to me through Substack. I get those messages directly and I will answer all questions that I can. But this is just, we're kind of in no man's land on the monthly right now, sitting between two major levels, real close to this 29.3. If we cannot get above there, that's not a good sign for the market. Like I said, know your earnings this week, Google, Intel, know there's some Fed announcement. Just know those things that can cause wild fluctuations in the market. The earnings should be mostly after the 3 o'clock close. So just keep that in mind, that it can move the market around kind of irrationally for a minute, and when things react to that, and then see what goes on from there. Outside of that, just have a good week. Take your time. Don't step out in front of this thing just because. Use your levels and use them to your advantage. And as always, we will talk soon.